Awesome. All right. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 7 of Add Water and Stir. Happy New Year. I hope you all had a great, safe, and healthy holiday. Today's topic is navigating reset medical deductibles. So what does that mean? At the beginning of each new year, your medical deductible gets reset, and that can be a potential deterrent for some patients that know what that is. It might raise some objections to patients that you start identifying in the new year, and we will help you navigate that situation. So, Dr. Greenman, tell us a little bit more what it means when you have a patient coming in with a reset deductible in the new year.
Sure, Nicole. Well, particularly under the Affordable Care Act, many of the deductibles that people are buying as individuals can be very high. I know personally I have a annual deductible that's well over $5,000. Now, in a healthy, good year, I'm not going to use any of it. However, for some patients, that could possibly be an impediment to moving forward with treatment that they really need and potentially want a great deal. So I always want to start out by telling the doctors and your teams to the ABCs of imparting the desire to get treated for obstructive sleep apnea. And the ABCs are always be compelling, okay? You've got to be compelling in your belief that these oral appliances and your treatment is going to make a profound difference in your patient's life. And unless you are compelling and unless you transfer that enthusiasm, to paraphrase Henry Ford, not much is going to happen. Deductible, no deductible, it really doesn't matter. So, again, there's talking points to cover, that these are FDA-approved appliances, that they are 90% effective at reducing loud snoring. I mean, 90% of people who get them will have their loud snoring reduced to down to a level that will not typically awaken and disturb a bed partner. These appliances are an excellent alternative and often a first-line alternative to CPAP, particularly for our mild to moderate cases, but in our severe patients who aren't using anything because they can't tolerate the CPAP, then by all means, this is the way to go. And your patients will love you for it, and you've got to have that confidence. You've got to start imparting that enthusiasm, and I just can't stress how important that is. So, what do you want to do before the patient arrives? Well, you can go about this various ways. We tell our patients to simply bring their insurance information with them. We offer them a no-charge consultation because we're very confident that once we get to meet them and they meet us and they see what we're about and how the examination is done, and they understand through some visual aids that we show them about how these appliances work, that they're going to want to move forward. Okay, so that's lesson number 1. Lesson number 2, particularly valuable if you invest in some technology, and I would say one of the best pieces of technology we have 2. One is an automated system to create letters and that take us through our exam process, and then literally a mouse click and a SOAP formatted letter is created to go to the patient, to go to the insurance company, to go to the patient's physician. So that's an important piece. And then the other real important piece that I think is invaluable would be digital impressions. Okay, I think the time has come to to reduce your use of traditional impression materials. Patients don't like it. There's a higher potential for distortion and poor impressions, which will affect the fit and the patient's comfort and the acceptance of the appliance. Also, digital impressions allow you unlimited storage of records. And you can do digital impressions that will include not only the impressions, but the byte registration as well. So we do that, and we advocate that a great deal. So when patients see all this technology and understand what you're about, then the deductible can become a little less important. Now, talk about gap. Okay?
Yes, let's talk about gap.
And in-network versus out-of-network, and how out-of-network, out-of-pocket can be way higher than in-network, and what a gap is.
So a gap exemption, and before I get into it, this is the importance of having a highly qualified medical biller in your corner. Navigating insurance situations like reset deductibles isn't as big of a deal when you have someone that is familiar with medical insurance, billing medical insurance, and billing for DME, durable medical equipment, what we're making for these patients. So a gap exemption is something that your medical biller can ask for when they're filing the claim for your patient. What a gap exemption is, it's having you be considered an in-network provider without having to be in network with that patient's medical insurance. There's some rules. It's if you are the only qualified provider within a certain mile radius of that patient's home. It could be that you are qualified, that you are trained, that you have a special level of knowledge that would allow you in particular to be the only person able to provide this service to your patient, and it would allow you to get paid without the deductible taking away some of those funds.
Right. I mean, oftentimes, here's an example. We have a patient who's very concerned about money. He has put down a down payment, but he's very concerned about how his coverage is going to go. Well, it turns out that his out-of-network deductible is $1,000. His in-network deductible is $0. His out-of-network coverage is 60%.
Right.
In-network coverage is 90%. So
right.
Obviously it will benefit him, in the practice, to get him covered on an in-network gap exception. Now,
right.
If gap is denied, and his was denied, okay, and it
what
was
do we
denied.
Do then?
Well, his was denied, and the insurance company listed a facility, a name of a facility that provided the same service. So, if gap is denied, never take no for an answer. Okay, the first thing we did was we Googled the name of the facility. Turns out the facility is almost 90 miles away. Okay.
Yep.
So based on that, and there's no mention that the facility provides any kind of dental sleep medicine.
Right.
The insurance company's job is to deny coverage. I mean, that's what they're all about. They don't want to cover anything if they don't have to. So because of that, now we've filed an appeal.
And that's also another prime example of why having a qualified medical biller in your corner is so important.
Yes.
Because did you or your team have to deal
No.
with any of that? No, your medical biller does.
Right. Well, I kind of, when she sent back the email, I was looking at an email, so I just Googled the name, and that's how I found out. And I wrote back, hey, Debbie, it looks like this company is 90 miles away and doesn't do dental sleep medicine. If sometimes it can be real close, okay, the distance, and so you may also want to look at the patient's work address, because we've had gaps approved that were initially denied based on the work address. Now, today or nowadays with COVID, a lot of people are working from home. That may not be as feasible, but nonetheless, you should do that. Also, we've had gaps appeals. We've successfully appealed gap for the simple fact that we provide a different type of appliance. And we let the patient know and the insurance company know the brand and type that we're going to make, and the patient then will oftentimes have to get on the phone as well. And I will say that the patient can be instrumental at overcoming gap. If you have a patient who's put money down, who's got skin in the game, and you ask them, hey, Scott, can you call the insurance company and let them know what's going on and how you want this treatment done, and you want us to do it because this office is qualified, my doctor referred, whatever the case may be, then that will go a long way as well.
And if you're thinking, well, what if my patients aren't going to want to do that? That seems like a lot of work. Circle back to what Dr. Greenman said at the jump. Always be compelling.
Yes.
Make this something that the patient wants, that they understand the importance of, the value of, not only the health benefit, but the life benefit. Your significant other will stop nagging you. You'll feel better. Things will be happier at home. You'll see how motivating that is for a patient to make a simple phone call.
Very much. So, there are some basic objections that the patients will raise, typically having to do with the, with wanting to know what their insurance is going to cover. And I know we've covered this before, but I think it bears repeating. So, Nikki, go over some of these common objections.
Absolutely. All right. Well, the number one most common objection, and it's a fair question. Honestly, it's one that I would ask. Well, can't I know exactly what my insurance will cover before I commit? Or some variation thereof. Rule number one is do not go over predetermination with your patient before gaining acceptance. Now remember, predetermination is that roadmap that you would get back from the patient's insurance, from your medical biller, letting you know what the patient's deductible is, how much of it has been met. If you start in with all that information, they're going to run from your office with their hair on fire screaming. Do not do it. Review and practice your money policy, and specifically what it is that you're making and the value of what it is that you are making. What I'm making for you today is a piece of durable medical equipment. We custom make it just for you. It's designed to last years. It can change, if not save your life. So this down payment I'm about to ask you for is to cover our upfront costs on treatment. If the patient still hesitates, I'm not sure, what's your next step? Simple. Look, we do this all the time. We are 100% committed to helping you and making this affordable. Doctor will carefully review your benefits before beginning the construction of your device. And if we learn anything materially different from what I'm telling you right now, he will personally call you to discuss it. How do you feel about moving forward now? If your insurance doesn't cover, we refund your down payment and we can talk again at a later date.
Excellent. And then you ask for the close. Now there's various ways people can pay for it, right? Do they have to put up money, all their money right now, or what can they do?
Absolutely not. That brings us to our second objection. Do I have to give you all of that right now? In Dr. Greenman's office, we ask for a $2,900 down payment. Very fair number for the value of services that you're providing, but that's a healthy chunk of change for some people. So they might say, okay, well, I want to move forward. I'm absolutely motivated, but I don't have that kind of cash right now. What can I do? Easy. What if I told you you can get started today and you don't have to give us a cent? We can get your down payment financed over 12 months. Let's take your impressions and get it going. My lovely assistant here will get started with Care Credit or Springstone or whatever financing options you have available in your practice.
Excellent. So yeah, we can definitely do that with Care Credit and what have you. Now,
plus your insurance will pay way before your last payment is due. So then that gives the patient the opportunity to just pay the full thing back. Most of these financing companies are no interest for 12 months. So there's a lot of financial choices for them.
Okay, so just to circle back and to wrap up a little bit, it's important, and this is why I like digital impression making, is to get the impressions, get the bite registration. Once you've examined the patient, you've gone through a sleep study, you're confident that they're a good candidate, they want to move forward, get your records, okay? Once you've got your records, I think it's fair that for PPO insurance, you can move forward with the billing process, okay? And that's particularly helpful for patients who really don't want to move forward until they really know what insurance is going to pay, because you're not going to know either until the insurance actually pays as a non-contracted provider. I think that's very important. Also, sometimes patients will say to me, look, $2,900, for this, and they've got a model of an oral appliance, and the answer is, no. The $2,900 is covering, our examination, all of our communication with your doctors, the construction of your device, the follow-up, the delivery of the device, as many follow-ups as you need, and everything is included during that first year of treatment, okay? And if your insurance pays nothing, we're not going to ask you for any more money, and it's really a good deal, okay, for the services that we're doing for you.
Absolutely.
So, getting that and getting that commitment is so important. We occasionally, we'll get our down payment, or it happens, not infrequently, and the insurance is going to not come through to the level that we were hoping it would. And we call our patient, and we say, hey, it looks like your insurance is going to cover some, maybe about $800 or $900. But I don't want to move forward until you know about that. The reason is that your deductible or some other, or they just don't cover that type of service very well. There can be a variety of reasons. What do you want to do? Well, once the patient's got that down payment, pretty much they're going forward. Okay, I can't. In the last 2 years, I think I've refunded maybe 2 times, okay? Not at all this last year. I can't think of a single one where we refunded during this last year in 2020. I think we did 1 or 2 in 2019. But point is also that if the patient leaves the office as what we call a Class C patient, where they don't give the full down payment of $2,900, those are the patients where if they're not committed, okay, and if they find out that maybe their insurance is not going to pay at the level that they want, or there's some extra hoops that they have to jump through with their insurance companies, those are the cases that we find will fall apart on account of money. So again, circling back, be compelling. This is a wonderful service, a life-changing service, and we wish you...
Well, one more thing before you sign off. I know right now at the beginning of the year, because of money, because of deductible, it's not a hard no. That is a soft no.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing.
And
yeah,
that's a key to taking the records, taking your impressions, taking your bite registrations, and holding on to them. They might sit around for a little bit, but in a couple months, check back in with that patient. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Remember when we talked about this? Remember when we took your impressions? Maybe we can look into your insurance again. Maybe you've had some doctor's appointments. Maybe you've had some hospital visits in the interim, and we can kind of bridge that gap for you. So even in a Class C where the patient is not 100% committed, leaving the practice, that doesn't mean you're not going to do that case. And it's very common in all offices that we work with, in Dr. Greenman's office, that around the fourth quarter, all those cases, all those impressions that are kind of just sitting there start to fly out the door. So don't be disheartened if a patient says, I can't give you that money, my deductible's too high. That's a real soft no.
That's right.
It's a real soft no.
It's a not now, but that doesn't mean it's not later, and so keep a file.
Absolutely.
So Nikki, tell everybody how to get a hold of us, and let's sign off.
Absolutely. Okay, so getting a hold of us, easy peasy, you know the drill. You can find us at Instagram at DSM Solutions CA. You can find us at Facebook at DSM Solutions. Our email, info@dentalsleepapneatraining.com. Our website, dentalsleepapneatraining.com. You can give us a good old-fashioned phone call at 818-561-6715. It is a new year. It is a great time to add a new item to your menu of services in your practice, especially one like this that goes so neatly into all the other services that you are providing. One that is so vital life-saving. We're in a time right now where maybe patients don't want to come in just for, little minor dental appointments, but medicine, sleep, feeling good, waking up feeling good, your kids are home, you're a teacher, you're doing your full-time job, you have to be locked and loaded for your day every day right now. So let's make sure that our patients are getting the rest and recovery that they need to perform at 100%.
Okay.
So with no further ado, we are logging off. Our next show will be in February, our traditional
First Friday,
our traditional off the cuff. What do you think our topic for February should be?
well, you usually decide on the topic.
Okay. So I think that our topic for February is going to be ortho and dental sleep medicine.
Hey, that's a good one. Okay. Yeah,
something that comes up a lot.
Okay.
I'm not going to give you any spoilers. We'll see you next month.
Bye-bye.